My name is Brendan Banfield. I shot him. But he stabbed her.
Your wife has died.
Is the defendant going to testify, Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Yeah, excuse me?
Yes.
He is going to testify.
Did police get the right guy? That is the burning question as defendant Brendan Banfield is expected to testify in his own defense in the Au Pair Affair murder trial. Plus, former NFL star Antonio Brown is fighting an attempted murder charge with a stand your ground defense. We're analyzing the shooting video with a use of force expert. Plus, two mothers, two murder plots. Disturbing parallels are emerging between convicted killer Donna Adelson and defendant Tracy Grist. Plus, Sarah Grace Patrick is staying put. The teenage defendant denied bond. And we have one of America's favorite judges on the show this morning to weigh in on the ruling. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. Good Wednesday morning to you and welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. Are you ready for some coffee and some court? We have an outstanding show planned, so let's get started. Grab that coffee right now. It's time for my opening statement. Let's think about Valerie. That poor, innocent little girl born to Brendan and Christine Banfield has been victimized in an unspeakable way. On the day in question, when Valerie's mom, Christine, was killed in their family home, Valerie was inside of the house, too, when all that horror occurred. Remember, the au pair told us how they put her in the basement while the homicides were happening. Can you imagine how terrifying it must have been for that little girl to presumably hear her mom screaming? Can you imagine how scary it must have been for her to hear the sound of gunshots being fired upstairs? And she's down in the basement, presumably petrified at those loud noises she's hearing and the screaming she's hearing. Think about it. That poor, precious child. I was thinking about this last night, my friends, and it makes me sick. You know, we're not seeing little Valerie in this trial because of her age, of course, and that's why I want to make a point to talk about her this morning on this program. She's been forced now to grow up without her mom. And one day she'll likely learn the way in which her mom was taken. And depending upon how this trial goes, she may grow up without her dad as well. So this morning I say let's send Valerie our love and our prayers, as no child deserves to experience what she has experienced. May God comfort her and bless her and surround her always with the support that she needs. That's my opening statement on this Wednesday. Let me know if you like it. Right now, time for your daily docket.
I heard my mom and Kevin talking about placing the knife in his hand. I heard Kevin say, "Be careful, he might still be kicking." Like to be careful.
In Utah, we've got the closing arguments expected in the family murder plot trial for defendant Kevin Ellis. Court's going to begin at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. In New Jersey, we have the state's case continuing in the Mansion murders trial for defendant Paul Canero. Testimony resumes at 8:30 a.m. Eastern there. And in Virginia, the case I was just talking about, defendant Brendan Banfield expected to testify today in the Au Pair Affair murder trial. And that is where we kick off our show this hour. So we want to pose the question, did the police get the wrong guy? Well, that's the question defense attorneys want the jury to be considering in the Au Pair Affair murder trial. Banfield, the defendant, accused of murdering his wife, Christine, and a man named Joseph Ryan, in what prosecutors say was a calculated catfishing murder plot. But the defense says the state built its case on a single theory pushed by police supervisors.
I believe that it was overwhelming that this was a catfish. I think the term has been used kind of across the board now. That was set up by the defendant, yes.
Was one of those theories catfishing?
It wasn't stated what the theory was. It just that there were two theories and you need to get behind the right one.
Do you know what catfishing is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that something that you were pushing with your homicide detectives at any point?
I wouldn't characterize that as pushing.
The defense also questions the credibility of the au pair, calling her a liar who cut a deal to save herself. Now, the jury must weigh two different versions of what occurred on that dreadful day. So will Brendan Banfield's testimony move the needle at all in the defense case? And did police get the right guy? Let's talk about it with two law enforcement expert guests. I want to welcome in now two retired police supervisors, Deputy Inspector Corey Pegues and Lieutenant Mike Gould. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Let's start with whether police got the right guy. Let's start with that question, and then we'll move to the catfishing. Inspector, your thoughts?
Hey, good morning. First, let me tell you, what a beautiful, beautiful opening statement for Valerie. That was really nice. Very moving. I definitely think that Brendan has something to do with the murder, for sure. Jelena definitely is trying to save herself. But you have to understand, after a while, when you're sitting in jail for 24 hours a day and your lover, the person that you possibly conspired with to do this murder, to get rid of her so you could get into the one spot, the love dissipates and goes away. But and then that's when you make the deal. You say, hey, listen, I'm sitting here in jail, I'm rotting in jail, and he just got away. So she does the deal. I definitely think that he had something to do with it, for sure.
Lieutenant, what do you say?
Yeah, good morning, Julie. So, yeah, I completely agree with your sentiments regarding, I have a soft spot for children and animals because they're so defenseless. And these things lately have been so heinous, there's always seems to be children involved. I agree with Corey that they have the right guy, at least in an involvement. It never ceases to amaze me, Julie. We tell our children, don't talk to strangers online. We tell them that it's dangerous. So I wouldn't get a piano instructor online, let alone somebody to come into my house with knives, restraints, tell them how to get in and commit this depraved sexual fantasy. I think when he testifies, they'll probably really rip into him. There is going to be conflicting expert witnesses. When I testify as an expert, I believe 110% on my opinion, and I'd like to believe the other side's expert believes that. So we have the defense is doing what they're doing. They're taking every bit of evidence and making holes in it, creating reasonable doubt. So I think him testifying, if he actually does, is not going to be to his advantage. No.
And Lieutenant, really appreciate the point you made about how you said, I won't get a piano instructor online. Why? Because that's not safe. I want to follow up with that with you. For anybody watching right now who's like, never really thought about this. When you find somebody online, I mean, in any capacity, let's use that example you gave us, Lieutenant, you could be inviting danger.
Yeah, Julie, and again, this thing could have went sideways for all of them. How do they know they're not hiring Freddy Krueger to come, or gangbangers coming in to rob the house and slaughter every one of them? So to think that this diabolical plot he's going to shoot them, he's going to put a knife in their hands, and this is all going to unfold as in their imagination, in their planning stages, it's shocking to me. As I said, you have this person you don't know, you're telling them how to get in, don't make noise, you can be violent, don't worry, I'll scream a little. Whatever it was, whoever started this, it was certainly an adult. It wasn't the 4-year-old child that engaged in this activity.
Right. Excellent points, Lieutenant. Thank you for that. I have a clip. This is from the defense expert witness who said there was no catfishing. Corey, we'll talk on the other side.
Based upon your review of this data, were you able to draw any opinions related to this case?
I was.
And what were those opinions?
That catfishing did not occur.
Okay, so the defense expert witness was good. We know that. And we know the defense attorney is good too. And he's highlighted how various officers who worked this case have disagreed. And there was disagreement going on between supervisors, some detectives on the ground, some officers who first responded. Not everybody was on the same page at first with this. But then eventually there was a theory that the department said was solid, credible, that Brendan Banfield did catfish Joseph Ryan with the au pair to kill his wife and make poor Joseph Ryan collateral damage. Corey, I want to tap into your experience when you have people below you that you're supervising that disagree. How common is that, and how do you work that out?
Well, listen, when you're doing any case, you got to look at it from 10,000 feet down. You're going to gather all the information. Are you going to have some conflicting accounts sometime? Yes, you are. But Mike could tell you that's why you have supervisors and bosses, because supervisors and bosses actually have a little more experience than seasoned detectives, and in terms of making leadership decisions. So you have to analyze all of the information and make a decision. So the supervisors actually are really the ones that make the decision. And Mike can tell you, he's a seasoned supervisor, lieutenant, squad command. You get all information from the supervisors. And yeah, sometimes some of the information might be conflicted, but that's why everybody comes together and you make a decision. Someone has to make a decision. The decision isn't on a lower level. The decision comes from the top.
And sometimes when you're not in the thick of it, it might be easier to make that decision, I would think. Mike, would you speak to that, please?
Yeah, no, Corey got it right. A supervisor has to look at these things from 10,000 feet, and you welcome different opinions. But that doesn't say you might not reassign somebody. That's very common. If you have somebody that's more experienced with knife homicides, or or digital evidence, whatever it is, you want to get the best investigators. So the problem comes in when suspicion about it arises. Does the police have tunnel vision? Are they just going for him? As Stalin said, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. Are they developing the evidence around it? I don't think any of this evidence individually as little nuggets is unusual. It's when you add them all up. And will it provide reasonable doubt to a jury? Who, by the way, juries today are very sophisticated, Julie, thanks to shows like yours. They're familiar with all of these things. So it's not like 15 or 20 years ago where DNA, ballistic evidence, knife evidence, jurors are coming to the table armed with knowledge. So I would like to see, and we've seen it in past cases, we see greed and lust and child custody has always been motives. And I think that the juries have successfully seen through all of this digital evidence and the DNA and stuff. So I'm pretty optimistic he's going to get convicted. I'm at about a 70% success rate here, but I think he's going to be found guilty. I think they'll establish that.
Really appreciate your insights. Thank you for the kind words. Lieutenant Mike Gould, Deputy Inspector Corey Pegues, thank you both for the excellent discussion this morning. We'll see what happens when this guy gets on the stand. And coming up next here on Opening Statements.
It was the holster left on the scene that we have submitted proof belonged to my client. That was his own holster from his own weapon, for which he has a concealed weapons permit, and they went in DNA.
We're breaking down Antonio Brown's shooting incident. His defense team saying he was standing his ground. We've got a use of force expert on the show next to weigh in.